This video was made in partnership with Ichiban Holdings. Post-game content in Yakuza is a series staple. Normally, you're given the Premium Adventure mode, which allows you to roam freely and let you finish anything you missed out on. But usually, there isn't anything new that'll really give you a challenge. That is, until Yakuza Like a Dragon. So when you get to the end, you have to climb the Millennium Tower. You run the entire gauntlet, you beat up Aoki, you beat the game. But when you come back in Premium Adventure mode, you gotta go back in there with the final Millennium Tower. Enemies from before are now replaced with stronger enemy types. And when you get to the end, you have to fight Amon. But if you're at least level 70, you should be able to beat this with ease. And after that, well, you have to go back with the true final Millennium Tower. Most enemies now are at max level. When you take a hit, you're losing most of your health. And this takes at least an hour to do, and if you die at any point, you gotta start from the very beginning. You're basically playing SFxT at this point. And fun fact, in the original Japanese version, the trophy for this is an add-on trophy, meaning it's not needed for the platinum. But for everyone else, fuck you, you gotta do it. So I did it. Twice. Hey, what can I say? I love this game. So I'm gonna give the essential steps needed to beat this. This is incredibly time consuming, and it all starts with your level. So when you get to the entrance, the game tells you need to have your characters at level 99 and your job at level 90. Badasses only. So what's the best way to do this? You want to head to the Kamurocho dungeon. Once you enter, you want to head to the second floor. From here, you want to make your way up to this point. And what you're looking for is the invested vagabond. The vagabond works similar to something like the Golden Hand in Persona. If you beat them, you get a ton of XP. But normally there's a gimmick when it comes to enemies like this. And for this one, he has very low health, but incredibly high defense. What matters is how many times you hit him. Jungi's Rapid Shot is the best skill to use on him. Once you're done, you want to run back upstairs and then run back down to respawn all the enemies. And you have to do this over and over and over and oh my god, this song. There are at least some ways to make this go a little faster. First are accessories. Equipping Tranquil Tenugui and Yakuza training gear gives a multiplier to your XP, but this only affects character level. Accessories for job XP are separate and are specific for each job. Another way to boost your XP even further is the Kiwami drink. If you head east from the homeless camp, you'll find a vending machine that sells the Kiwami drink, and it boosts both character and job XP. The thing is, you can only hold 5 at a time. But there's a workaround for this. There's an item box at the homeless camp where you can store the drinks, and there's no limit to this. So when you're at the safe area, you can pick up the drinks from that item box. But this is gonna require you to go back and forth getting the drinks, put in a box. I mean, it's pretty tedious, but this whole thing is tedious anyway, so you might as well. But eventually, you're gonna hit the levels you need. And when you go into that tower, you're gonna quickly realize you're under-leveled as shit. So being where the game wants you to be level-wise isn't good enough. You need to increase your stats even higher. And to do that, you gotta level up more jobs.
Oh, it took me so long just to get level 99 and 90, and I gotta do it again. I gotta listen to that same fucking song.
Leveling up jobs to certain points will give permanent stat boosts. And these boosts stay with the character no matter what job you use. The bare minimum would be to have at least 2 jobs maxed out. It should be their main and whatever job that boosts the same stats. But it's not just about levels. Your gear is also important. With your weapon, it has to be an EX weapon, and you gotta upgrade these things too. But these prices can be a little... ugh. So what's the best way to get money? Well, you could play that management game over and over, but you only get 3 mil from every shareholders meeting if you're rank 1. At this point, it's not that optimal. But there is a better way. And that would be the final Millennium Tower. Hey! Every time you beat a boss, you get at least 5 mil. If you have the Novo Riche crown, you can increase it even more. You can also get materials to upgrade the EX weapons, so this is pretty much the go-to spot. I'll say at the very least, have your weapons upgraded at +5. But of course it doesn't hurt to upgrade it even further, so do whatever works for you. Armor and accessories can be whatever fits your playstyle. As long as the numbers are high and it gives good effects, you'll be good to go. But once the long road of grinding is finally done, now it's time to figure out who to send in. So when it comes to team comp, there isn't a specific way you have to do it. Every character has their use. And this is very flexible, as long as you have every attack type covered. So I'm gonna give my starting lineup first, and then I'll talk about everyone else. Obviously up first, we got Ichiban. Kasuga overall is just a great unit, with his main forte being his healing and his attack. Skills like Hero's Embrace, where he fully heals everybody, and Indomitable Courage, which removes all status effects, are a couple reasons why he's the best healer in the whole game. He also has the strongest and highest costing essence as well, Essence of Orbital Laser, an AoE electric type attack that does a hell of a lot of damage. But the skill that you always need to have on hand is Peerless Resolve. It's basically a get out of jail free card where he can take a hit that he would not be able to survive otherwise, keeping himself and others alive while at the same time being able to do good damage. Ichiban's got the tools to be that 2A player. Next up, I got Eri. Now Eri isn't the best at one thing, but I'd say she's the second best at many things, and that would be attack, healing, and agility. She really shines with her blade attacks like Paper Cut Reversal, a very high damaging move that has a chance to bleed. But she also has one of the strongest blunt moves, Essence of Telephone Nunchaku. It can hit as many enemies on screen and the damage is crazy. And if she's ever low on health, she can heal herself with Healing Vibrations. For the low cost and high healing stat, it is a very good move to use. And another move that should be a go-to is Photo Blink. It drops the enemy's accuracy pretty significantly, so if the RNG is in your favor, you can dodge some real powerful attacks. And with the amount of turns that she gets, she's just the best. Alright, next up, I got Psycho with Idol. Now she is here with this job for these reasons: heals, revives, debuffs. She's basically the white mage of the party, with incredible support moves like Magical Concert, which is another move that can fully heal all allies. Essence of Idol Spirit is the best move when it comes to reviving allies, because when they come back with full health. And with Idol, she has access to one of the best debuff moves, Love Drunk Typhoon. It is a debuff that automatically lowers all enemies' defense. With her and Ichiban, they provide a killer combo for support. And finally, I got Jungi. Now Jungi is him when it comes to one thing, and that is his speed. He is the fastest character in the game, and if you have his agility high enough, you can have him go every other turn, or even twice in a row. Leveling up Hitman, Breaker, and Chef will put him at his full potential. But he's not a one-trick. He's got some good skills as well. Stunt Smash is a low-costing electric move that has a good chance to paralyze. Fatal Rush is a blade move that has pretty good damage and can do even more if an enemy is bleeding. Phantom Shift can raise both his accuracy and his evasion for a few turns. And Divine Shot is a gun skill that has very high damage and can hit multiple enemies in range. So with my team, I wanted to focus on getting as many turns as I can get thanks to Jungi and Eri, and I also wanted to get as many opportunities to heal possible. But if you wanted to do more of a different approach, these other characters can maybe help with that. Namba is the only character that's really built around magic. He has the highest stat for it, so if there's an enemy with an elemental weakness, he's gonna be exploiting it the most. He's also another character that's really good at healing. Adachi is very reliable with his survivability due to his high HP and defense. He's pretty much the only character that won't lose over half his health when he takes a hit. Having someone that can just stay alive could be a choice you can make. Cho is in a league of his own when it comes to his unapologetic attack. He has the highest attack stat out of everyone. And with plenty of blunt and blade moves to choose from, Cho's your guy for that raw damage. Now I want to go over some skills you can get from other jobs that are going to be needed for this dungeon. Fulminating Forecast comes from the Fortune Teller job. It's an electric move that hits up to 3 enemies, has very good damage, and has a very high chance to paralyze. With the amount of enemies that are weak to electric, this is going to be the move you're going to use the most. Ice Spreader comes from both Host and Hostess. They're both a little different when it comes to damage and if it can hit multiple enemies, but it's pretty much going to be the go-to ice move. Megaton Throw is from Foreman, and it's a fire move that has a large AoE radius. An alternative you can use is Candle Rush, and that comes from Night Queen. It does around the same damage, but the AoE radius is much smaller. These are the only 2 fire moves that carry over, so you should have at least one of them in your arsenal. Soul Tether is a revive skill that also comes from Fortune Teller. The amount of health they come back with is low, but it is a guaranteed revive. It's good if at least 2 of your party members have this move. With all these moves and all this knowledge on knowing what characters you can use, it is now time to finally take on this dungeon. For real this time.
Let's go.
Okay, so your first fight is against the 2 Yappy-kun from hell. Now I would say just spam a bunch of electric moves since they're weak to electric. But between you and me, if you have the Herides Amulet, you can put that on a character you don't plan on using, and you can just skip this whole fight entirely. Hey, this dungeon ain't gonna play fair, so why should you?
Let's go.
So your first real fight is against a Mr. Six and a Grand Slammer. Start it out with Fulminating Forecast and paralyze the Grand Slammer. Then you just want to mollywop Mr. Six with any kind of blunt moves, and then go after Slammer with any electric or blade moves. If you do it in this order, you'll be able to beat this one easy. So for the next fight, you got a Scarred Face and a Chinese Mafia officer. Scarred Face is weak to blade, and the officer is weak to both electric and gun. Once you hit a Fulminating Forecast, prioritize Scarred Face first because he has moves that cause status effects. Once you're done, take care of the officer and you'll be good to go. But now, it's time for your first real challenge.
Warning.
Now we have the first boss of this dungeon, that being Saejima. He has one weakness, and that is electric. Even though it should be ice. On the Suji decks it says ice. If you fight him on the final tower, he's weak to ice, but in here, it's electric. It'd be like that, I guess. Well, Saejima's main thing is that he hits like a truck, so it's best to cast that Peerless Resolve. Once you get his health down to around 40%, he's gonna give himself the strongest attack buff, because he needs that. So as long as you're abusing those electric moves and staying on top of your revives, you should be okay. Now that Saejima's done, it's time to move on.
Let's go.
Next up, we got an Ironclad Chef and a Flash Mobber. Now they're both weak to ice, so I used Ice Spreader to try and hit both of them. Yeah, I didn't hit that. So who you choose to go after first is your choice. I went after Flash Mobber first. On top of ice, he's also weak to fire. After he was done, it was time for the chef. And he's weak to blunt, so that's real easy damage right there. Now there's actually a really easy skip for the next 2 fights. You want to take a sharp left, kind of stick to the wall until you hit the door. Once you open that door, you want to take a sharp right and stick to that wall until you open the next door. And that will lead you to the next battle, which are 2 Nameless and a Forsaken Samurai. Now you can go crazy with the MP, whether it's Forecast or any other kind of essences, because once that battle is done, you'll be able to hit your first rest spot. After recovering, it's time to move on to the next floor.
Let's go.
First fight here, you got an Urbane Legend and an Emperor of Funk. Priority should be on the Emperor just because he can do things like take your MP. But the 2 of them share an ice weakness, so just spam Ice Spreader and you're good. Next up, we got 2 Tinkersmen and an Edison of Anarchy. Forecast, Forecast, Orbital Laser, Forecast, you're done. But now, we got a new challenger.
Here comes a Daredevil.
So the next boss fight is Majima. And surprisingly, this is really easy. He doesn't have that much health, and he's weak to fire. So just spam any kind of fire moves you got, and then you win. All right, moving on.
Let's go.
Now this whole floor is pretty tricky, with this first fight being 2 invulnerable billboards and a Dr. Black. All 3 of them are weak to electric, so get your paralysis and prioritize the doctor first. Then you can use Forecast or German Suplex on the 2 billboards. Up next is a Bohemiarch, a Biker Vanguard, and a Bedeviler. The Biker does a hell of a lot of damage, so I went after him first with blade moves. After that was the Bedeviler. He has a move called Lethal Curse, and if it hits, it does have a chance to insta-kill. But just like the Biker, he also has a weakness to blade. Now, I want you to look at that little sliver of health he has left. He dodged a blade, he turned to Prime Ali, he turned to Neo. Now my team's brainwashed, they're killing each other. What the hell is happening? But finally, the Bedeviler went down and everything was under control. You can take down the Bohemiarch the same way as the other 2, with blade. God, that was the fight of all time. Following that is a Gillyman and an Ultimate Champion. You want to take care of the Gillyman with fire moves first. After that is the Champion, and this Champion is something else. He hit Eri with not 1 Destino, but 2 Destinos. Who the hell does he think he is, Naito? Why does he keep doing... Oh my god. Well, you can pack him up with both ice and blade moves. Now there's actually another skip you can do from this spot. If you hang right and just make a beeline for it, you can just skip this fight entirely. But to be honest, this one's way more precise. So in a situation where you do get caught, you gotta go against a Welt Razor and a Pharaoh. Both are weak to the Forecast. Go after Welt Razor with blunt moves, and just keep spamming the Forecast on the Pharaoh. But at least now, you've hit your second rest spot. And well, you're gonna need it. So it's time for the third boss. This time, it's Tendo. And I'm not gonna lie, this fight is boring. Like many others before, he has a weakness to electricity. So this fight is basically just a loop of Forecast, Forecast, Heal, Forecast, Debuff, Prolonged Debuff, Forecast, Forecast, and it's just this for like 15 minutes. As long as you have that loop down, and you have Peerless Resolve on Ichiban, yeah. At least you're ready to move on to the next floor.
Let's go.
There's only one enemy on this floor, and that is Kiryu. Now Kiryu stays faithful to his weakness, which is ice. And this ice weakness is basically the game plan. You just want to keep spamming Ice Spreader. Eventually, he'll swap the Rush. The game plan stays the same, keep spamming Ice Spreader. Then he'll swap the Beast. The game plan stays the same, spam Ice Spreader. Then he'll swap the Dragon of Dojima style. The game plan stays the same. It's pretty anticlimactic, but it gets the job done. And now, we have one last hurdle. So this is it. We're finally at Amon. Now, unsurprisingly, he has no weakness. But something that he's not resistant to is just standard blunt moves. So this is gonna take you through the first phase. Once you take out around 10% of his health, he's gonna swap to Rush. Physical skills are now a no-go due to an automatic counter. But what you can do instead are gun skills. There is a chance he can guard it, but more often than not, this should be the go-to. You can also use German Suplex for a ton of damage. Suplex City, bitch. But once his health is at the halfway point, he's gonna swap to Beast. And now's a good time as any to mention this, but Pound Mates. Yeah, I don't really use them. But there's one in particular that's basically mandatory, and that is Mr. Masochist. Uncomfortably Numb gives the biggest defense boost for a handful of turns. The damage you take is gonna basically look normal for a while. And the reason why this is mandatory is because shortly after Amon switches to Beast, he is going to summon Saejima, Majima, and Kiryu. Excuse me? So with the 4 of them, it is incredibly overwhelming. So what's the plan here? Well, it really comes down to isolating them one at a time. And that starts with Majima. He has the lowest amount of health out of the 4 of them, so take him out with any fire moves you got. Also, if you have moves that take out the 4 of them at the same time, that's encouraged as well. With Majima down, the next step was actually supposed to be Amon, but with all the forecast and orbital lasers I was hitting, I actually got Saejima to be pretty low, so the priority switched to him. But right where I thought I had him, he decided to summon his own pound mate. Because they can do that, they can summon their own pound mates when their health is low. And not only that, Amon hit Malicious Grin. And when he hits this, you better duck for cover. Because when it's his turn again, he's gonna hit an orbital laser on you. And the result of this? Took out everybody. Peerless Resolve is the only reason why Ichiban is still alive. Now I got a dead party, Ichiban has low health, and I got Amon and Kiryu on my ass. And Amon is not letting up. But as I was getting my ass beat, I realized Kiryu isn't doing anything. In fact, he hasn't been doing anything this whole time. He has just been a glorified spectator, just watching all this chaos unfold. Hey, but to be honest, I'll take it, man, because if he wasn't doing this, this video probably wouldn't even be made for real. But I finally found an opportunity to bring back Jungi. And with that, he was able to bring back Psycho, and then Eri. And then once I was able to hit Hero's Embrace, it was my turn. Took care of Amon with any kind of blunt essence I got. He was finally done. And now, all that's left is Kiryu. He's done with watching the action, he's ready to throw down. But the thing is, the game plan stays the same. It was back to spamming Ice Spreader. But with that little bit of health left, he summoned his own pound mate. In a last-ditch effort, he tried to take us all out. And, well, it only killed Jungi. Eri took care of him, it's over. Finally, after all the grinding, the dying, that led to more grinding, it is finally done with. And what do you get for the tens of hours of effort? Congratulations. And the outfit. Bro.